Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gentry's Journey. I am Carolyn Coleman, and we have on today um, our wellness guru, Miss ShaeJae. Okay, so she is here to talk with us about wellness and how we can get started and the reasons why we need to concentrate on our health. So, Miss ShaeJae, you can take it away.
Well, great day, everybody. My name is Shay. I am the owner and founder of ShaeJae's Wellness. I've been on my journey over 15 years. I actually started back in 2012, realizing that enough was enough. For me, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, I had to realize that in order to be changed, you have to renew your mind. So my motto is, be ye changed by the renewing of your mind so that you may prove what is good and perfect, what is the good and perfect will of God. So, with that being said, at my healthcare background, I am a nursing student. Well, I was a nursing student at Lawson State Community College. I also graduated from Virginia College as a certified medical assistant. So, with my knowledge and learning the background of physiology, anatomy, biology, and learning the basic unit of life, which is the cell. Everybody has cells. Everybody has cells that either die or regenerate. So what I did was I dug a little bit deeper into the knowledge of learning about the cells, how they reproduce themselves, how they die, and what do we need to do in order for our cells to reproduce in a positive way that our organs may regenerate to be more healthier.
Well, that's great. All of that is very important. I love the way you just thought about your process and how are we going to do this and create a platform of wellness. So that's great.
Amen. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you told me blue is your platform, the shade of blue that
Blue
you
is
wear.
my brand.
Okay, that's
Um,
your brand.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and explain
That's
that
my
for us.
brand. All shades of blue. The reason being is because I had a sister, my older sister. She passed away back in 2015. Her colors were blue. She was my biggest advocate. She loved her some Shay, and anything that I stepped forth to try to do, she was always my greatest advocate. She always promoted me. She always pushed me forward. And before she passed, I had just started getting into the holistic world, where I was feeling like a pretty much like an imposter, just doing stuff. But however, the stuff that I was doing was working for me. Then I started passing it out to family and friends. She was the one who recommended that, hey, maybe you should go into wellness. Maybe you should do stuff to help other people. And, when prior to me being the size that I am now, I was 265 pounds.
Hmm.
So when I realized that in order for us to be changed, we got to do some things different with our bodies, and I started rolling it out to my family members and friends. My big sister was the one that pushed me forward. So when she pushed me forward, and after she passed, unfortunately, I went into a depression moment. But what I did was I picked up her advice, made her favorite color my color. So all shades of blue is ShaeJae's brand.
That's excellent. Um, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your sister.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Now, when you speak of wellness or holistic wellness, how do you do your initial assessment of people?
Yes, so I'm a holistic wellness consultant, and what I do is I consult mentally, spiritually, and physically from the inside out. The reason being is because all of us have a lot that's going on in life, mental wise, and a lot of our mental stresses comes from just everyday life. Life just be lifing. For me, I personally have my own testimony to where I was going through mental stresses of life. And my mental stresses that I was going through, for me, I lost my grandmother and I lost my husband on the same day. I lost my husband due to infidelity, and I lost my grandmother just for natural causes. She passed. But in the process of me learning about my husband, being with another woman, and all these things that my husband, this other woman, had done, the same day someone called me and said, "Hey, grandma passed." So I was in a whirlwind trying to figure out like which way to grieve. I didn't know whether to grieve my marriage. I didn't know whether to grieve my grandmother. My mind was just going in a whirlwind. I also consult spiritually because the reason being is we say we trust, we say we believe whoever we trust and we believe in, but when times get hard, we have a hard time trying to put those twos and twos together. We worry, we be wondering, we be praying, we over pray, we over ask, we overthink things, and it just be hard to just do that one simple thing, which is trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and allow him to direct your path. So, if it's hard to get your spiritual right, your mind is just going to be however your mind is going to be. So that's the reason here at ShaeJae's Wellness, we consult mentally and spiritually because for me personally, when I was going through a mental whirlwind and I didn't know which way to turn, I was trying to figure it out myself. I stayed depressed. I stayed down. I'm the type, I'm always happy. I'm always upbeat. But I found myself couldn't get out the bed. Being one of those persons that couldn't get out the bed. Being one of those persons that couldn't eat. Being one of those persons that says, oh my God, just when nothing working right for me. So in the process of me not working on what in the process of me being mentally depleted and not being spiritually connected the way I knew I should have been, I let my physical body go. And what it looks like when you let your physical body go, it just looks like you're not taking care of yourself. Either you're overeating or you're not eating at all. You're definitely not doing your proper meditation. You're not doing your proper prayer. And you're not doing your proper trusting in God. You're not doing anything that's going to be healthy to the body because your mind is just like, it's all over the place. Your spirit is not connected. So for me, this is what happened. The day I found out my husband's cheating, they called and said grandma passed. For me, what I did was, and this is how I really understood that being spiritually connected was very, very important. I got on my knees. I actually got on my knees to pray. I didn't know what to say, but I got on my knees to pray. And what I heard was, I heard my grandmother say, because my grandmother, although she passed, she was still a very spiritual woman. And she was so spiritual where we used to call her Jesus herself. Like, that's Jesus. You don't play with Jesus. You know, you better not do this around grandmom. You better not do that. So, with that being said, when I got on my knees to pray, I knew grandmother was in a better space, a better place. I was just depleted physically here on earth. But when I got on my knees to pray, I prayed and I say, Lord, and what I heard was my grandmother just say, baby, it's okay. It's okay. Back in the day, we know how people had multiple families, and what I heard her say, my husband, Johnny has had six fam. I had six babies by Johnny, and Johnny had six outside families that I didn't even know nothing about. So that gave me strength to like, okay, this is a part of life. At the time, it was detrimental to me because pretty much I was really in the process of losing everything. I was so hurt from my marriage. I told my husband I want an uncontested divorce. I don't want absolutely anything, which means I didn't want any part of our four-bedroom home. I didn't want the car he had just purchased for me. Definitely didn't want his last name anymore. I just wanted out. The only thing I asked him to do was just pay for the divorce. Just pay for the divorce and let me be. But throughout the process, what I learned is we all have a journey. Life is a journey. And it's everything, even of the worst thing that seems the worst for you, is a part of your actual journey. You also have to understand and be so spiritually connected enough to know that God is the one who orchestrates our life. If we're going to try to take it all on ourselves, we're depleting ourselves because we don't have that spiritual connection to say, okay, this is life. Life has happened. What do I need to do next in the name of the Lord to move forward? What do I need to do next to be a better person? What do I need to do next in order to work on myself? So when I came to the point after speaking with four psychologists, and everybody asked me, say, hey, Shay, do you want to kill yourself? And what I used to say, no, I don't want to kill myself. I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I just don't want to be here. But what I had to realize when I got on my knees to pray, going back to that, And I heard my grandmama say, it's gonna be okay. Johnny had four, I had six kids by him. He had six outside families. And this is just a part of life. God is still gonna take care of you. You're still a blessed child. Everything happens for a reason. However, this was something my grandmama used to always say, and this is why this is my motto. When we was little kids, she would send us a card. Every card that she sent all of her grandkids, 13 of us, she put at the bottom, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding, in all their ways, and acknowledge him, and he shall direct that path. When we was kids, what we'll do, we'll take that card, we'll get the little money out, and we'll just throw the card to the side. Oh, grandma got the Bible verse in there. Oh, grandma got the Bible verse in there. Now you understand that as you grow, one day you're gonna need that Bible verse. One day life is going to get so hard, you're not going to know absolutely anything about what you should do in order to move forward. But if you know the Lord and you trusting in him with all your heart and leaning not on to your own understanding, it's okay. He's going to direct that path. So what I've learned throughout my hardship is I see it. No matter what I've been through, and yes, I had a Job experience to where I lost my husband, I lost my job, I lost my car, I lost my house, I lost when I got an apartment, I lost that apartment. My business was not was very shaky. It was like I was running a business as a hobby, just whatever little money I got in, it wasn't even structured as a business. I was just running because I was on like so-called autopilot. However, when I got connected and I started getting up in the morning. And this is one thing I teach my people. If you ever become a part of my program, which is a 3-day detox program, we're going to detox that mind. I got to talk to you about what you got going on mentally because we have to keep it real in order for us to heal. Then, once we talk about what you got going on mentally, we're going to get connected with that spiritual side. And getting connected with your spiritual side looks like you got to wake up every rising. And you got to seek ye first the kingdom of God and allow everything else to be added unto you. Because if you get up in the rise and think that everything is going to be about you and how you're going to orchestrate your day and what you're going to do to make it and what you, 9 times out of 10, let's keep it real. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, with my program, I teach you how to get up in the rising. I have a step-by-step program to teach you how to take your supplements because you will be detoxing 3 days a week. Your body has to rest. Number one, in order for you to hear from the Lord. Your body has to rest. So when we're working and we're eating everything that we see out there, and we gonna stop and get this and stop and get that, and I don't want to eat healthy. I want to eat this. We're actually feeding the flesh, which is not good for the soul. However, once you get on my program, I'm gonna put you on foods that's gonna help you detox your mental, help you connect your spirit, and then help you to feed your soul. Feed not your flesh, but feed your spirit. Because in order for us to move around successfully, we have to have a healthy body. I always tell people this is our temple. We don't have nothing else to live in besides this. This is all we have. So if they take the clothes away, take the shelter away, take your car away, the only thing you have to live in is your temple. So we have to keep our temples healthy mentally. We have to keep them connected spiritually. I cannot say this enough. The only way we're going to be able to work on our physical selves. That's just it. So it gets hard. But if you're on a step-by-step structured program, I'm going to go pat myself on the back, such as ShaeJae's Wellness 3-day detox plan. It's going to help you to get to restart, reset everything. You only do this program, I recommend it once a month, and that consists of 3 blood cleansing green juices. There's going to be kale, stuff that we never heard of before. And then let's back up. Let's talk about me a little bit. I got a picture right here. I was 200, my fat girl. I was 265 pounds on this picture. Mm-hmm. And this was back in 2006. This is when I started working on myself. And I always tell people I haven't always been a good eater myself. See, I was eating ribs and everything else that I could think of about eating. But this is me when I started working on myself, when I started working on my body. And I had to throw this up because we are overweight. I was 265 pounds. And like I said, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had fibroids. I had gastrointestinal problems where they wanted to stick a scope down my throat and figure out what I had going on stomach wise. But when I realized that the body is created to heal itself, And we don't have to continue to run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to the doctors. The only thing we have to do is properly fuel our bodies so that our bodies can do the work that it needs to do for themselves. Me personally, I healed myself from fibroids. I'm going to show you another picture. And I hope I'm not taking over, Miss
No,
Karen.
please continue.
This is my other fat girl picture. Now, this picture right here, when I had a fibroid the size of a grapefruit and the size of a golf ball. I worked on myself. It took me 3 months to work on myself, but the only thing I did to begin with, I did a 21-day green juice cleanse. That's just straight drinking green juices, taking sea moss, taking elderberry, taking turmeric and ginger. And I did have the opportunity to eat a healthy tomato soup, but it couldn't have all that salt, a lot of different seasons and stuff in it. The only thing I could have in it was garlic, onion powder, and pepper. Those are the only seasons that I could have in it. But however, that was to heal the body. Here I go again. That girl picture before when I had the fibroids. And this is my after picture when I ate right, did the cleanse, ate right, and got myself together. So I went from being 265 pounds to now I'm 147, 147, 150, around that weight. So I did it all naturally. I did it so easily. And I'm going back to say, we can't eat everything. What I started doing in order for me to be a healthy version of myself, I stopped eating that and started eating this. And what that looks like is let's stop eating mayonnaise and let's do avocado and lime. Get away from that sugar, and let's start off with honey. But eventually, let's go to agave, maple syrup. Let's get off of. Let me see what else I had to change. Cheese. I stopped eating cheese, and well, I stopped eating cheddar cheese, but I went to like cottage cheese. And those are stuff, things, foods that we say, I ain't gonna eat that. That's nasty. But however, those are the best foods in order to fuel our bodies. So, with that being said, we got to make those lifestyle changes in order for our bodies to do what our bodies need to do. If we continue eating all that sugar, we continue eating these high fat foods, processed meat, period. Let me just be honest. For me, it was so hard to get rid of meat. And number one, it was very, very hard to stop eating pork. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Pork is very, 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 very good to us. However, it's the most poisonous food that we can eat as a human being. Pork gives us that high blood pressure. It gives us that cholesterol, diabetes. That's what pork kills cancer. That's where all these ailments come from. It comes from that pork. Like I say, understanding is the hardest thing to get rid of. But the way I look at it is a pig is poisonous. So if we're eating pig, that's like really compatible to eating rat poison. And when people tell me, well, I don't eat pork like that, I just eat a little bit. Well, I ask the question, how often do you eat rat poison? I mean, you may have never tasted it before, but if it was good to you, would you keep eating it just because it's good to me and it's killing your body on the inside? I don't think so. No, we will not. So you have to change your mind because, again, your temple matters. If you put bad fuel inside of your vehicle, what's your vehicle going to do? It's going to run bad. But if you put good fuel inside your vehicle, it's going to run the way that it needs to. And that's the same with your body. So you got to change your mind. You got to get to the point where enough is enough. And you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Number one, going back and forth to these doctors. And the reason I say that is because we go back and forth, we go back and forth. But the bad part about it, we're not being cured. We're continuously being pacified. Because if this pill don't work, they're going to put you on another one. If that pill don't work, they're going to put you on another one. And then the one pill that they gave you, well, I'm going to give you this pill, but in order for you to, for water weight, I'm going to give you this pill. Well, this pill is going to help with your high blood pressure, but you're also going to need one for your cholesterol. They go down the rabbit hole with giving you pills and refills after refills after refills. And what I hear a lot of, well, I've been had blood pressure about 5 years now. Okay, so what's going on? My doctor, he got me on this medication and I take it every single day. Okay, so you take that medication every single day, you're not being cured, you're being pacified. And what we fail to realize that you may go to the doctor, they put the cuff on, you may have high blood pressure for that moment. However, your doctor don't ask you, what do you have going on in your mind? What type of life stresses are you under? They don't even really ask you what type of food you eat. And if you do tell them what type of food you eat, they'll tell you, oh, that's okay. Just eat that in moderation. They won't tell you, oh, well, make sure you stop and make sure you start. Stop eating this and start eating that. They don't tell you that. And if they do tell you, they're going to say something like, stop eating this and just eat some fruit. What type of fruit? Stop eating this and you can have a little bit of that. I mean, make it make sense. So for me, I have to pride myself, guys, because we cater to what you got, what you have going on within your body. If you got high blood pressure, my recommendation as far as holistic is concerned is always going to be elderberry. However, if you come to me and tell me I got high blood pressure, we got to talk about it. What you got going on in your mind? Let's talk about that first. Because sometimes we have so much stuff going on here in life. Because like I said, life be life and life be life is so hard. We need in and everything just to keep everything balanced. But if we think about it, well, I got this, got the kids, got my husband, I got my job, I got this. And then we get to talking that stuff out. And then I get to helping you make it make sense. You're feeling better. You're like, okay, wow, I never thought about it like that. Oh, I feel better already. And when you learn how to take those stresses off of yourself, that's what heals your high blood pressure. So, said that to say, a lot of us is taking this medication for absolutely no reason at all, just because the doctors recommend it. Keep in mind, I don't know if a lot of us know or not, but they get commission off of each pill that they recommend to us. The pharmacist get commission off of each pill that he fills, off of each prescription that he fills for us. So we're just throwing money down the drain instead of saying, okay, let me back up. Let me do a reset and a reset. Let me do a detox. Let me see what I need to do in order to cure high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. And I named those three because those are the most common ones I hear. I hear about kidney disease every now and then. Um, yeah, kidney disease, heart disease is going to be cholesterol and high blood pressure. But that cholesterol and the high blood pressure, overweight, obesity, hormone imbalance, I hear about that stuff all the time. But the only thing we need to do, we got to get holistic. We got to renew our minds. We got to be able to see what's going to help us for the long run, not just temporarily. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I always encourage patients, I don't prescribe, can't prescribe, but I do always encourage patients to be your own best advocate.
Amen. Yes,
You
ma'am.
have to, don't just go in the doctor's office and sit on the table or the chair and, well, what you think, doc? Well, your doctor needs to be asking you that question.
Right.
Why are we here today? Have you had any problem? What are you doing? And my doc, I hate she's leaving. She doesn't think I see her because I don't go in as the nurse. I go in as the patient. She looks
Right.
at me from head to toe. And she doesn't think I
Mhm.
see that. But I appreciate that. She's not trying to run me in and run me out. She's trying to see what type of shoes I have on and do I have a steady gait, those type of things. The only place that,
Good.
and we did not fall out. We had a healthy discussion. My A1C was 6.1. And she said, I want to put you on metformin. I said, no, ma'am. That's why
Right.
this is where we're gonna give me. I know what I'm doing. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm doing. I said, I love my desserts. I haven't been walking like I've been accustomed to walking. And I will drink a soda once a day. I said, but now that I'm looking at this number, it's not all the way out of range. But I'm cutting back on all of it except the exercise. I'm
Mm.
picking it back up. And she said, okay, I'll give you 6 months to get it done. And she did. We did. I did my part. Still wasn't at full throttle, but I did my part. And my
Mm.
A1C came down.
Look at that.
So we good. Okay. But a stressor came up in life. And when I went to see her, it hadn't been but a couple of months. And she was like, oh, your A1C is back to 6.1. I said, yeah. and I told her what all had went on. So she
Mm,
was
look
like,
at that.
okay, all right. So I mean, so she doesn't push, and that's being your advocate. When you know yourself, you know your body, you know what's going on. Life be lifing,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, and I've been hearing that a lot over the last couple of years. We have to be our healthcare advocate.
That's
Don't
right.
be bragging about how many prescriptions they wrote for
Mhm.
you that day.
True.
Now, some things you need. We're not saying don't take anything. We're not advocating that. We want you healthy, wealthy, and wise, is what Miss ShaeJae is saying. Okay.
Amen.
But
Amen. Yes, ma'am.
when I saw that picture of that barbecue rib, it was funny because I just finished eating some, okay?
Look at that.
That's
Girl,
just
they was so good. Lord, they was so
it
good.
was so tender. But
Yes,
my point is moderation. And
yes.
moderation. We don't drink enough water. We don't drink enough water to take the medication. We drink
That
a
is so
sip of
true.
water and we take that pill. And I'll be like, you need to drink a couple more sips. That's what I tell my patient. I said, you
Mm-hmm.
really need to drink at least 4 ounces. I'm good. I'm like, it's not that the pill didn't go down. We need to help it to dilute and go through your entire system,
Amen.
okay?
So true. Yes,
Because
ma'am.
if you're not drinking well enough, you can start hurting your kidneys. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that. I said, well, everything filters through our bodies.
Yeah.
And I
So
had some patients that would just swallow their pill. I take mine without water. I said, no, we're not doing that today. We're
mm-hmm.
not doing that today. But his family allowed him to do that. He's only with me, what, a couple of days in a month. I may not ever see him again. But if he continues that routine, he's going to come back as a renal disease.
Right.
And
Unfortunately.
because you're not drinking your water behind your medication, even your vitamins, you
Mm-hmm.
need to drink water behind that.
You have
You know,
to.
before COVID, even way before, I was, let's just go and put it out there, I was a beast in the gym.
Going to the gym like you're supposed to.
Just love it. I just absolutely love it. It gets your
Look at that.
adrenaline up. You're just doing what you need to do. I don't have goals that I'm meeting personally. My goal is to get in the gym, do my thing, enjoy my workout, and
Mhm.
come back. You can't
Right.
really do that in 30 minutes. So you got to give yourself an hour to 2 hours to get some things done.
Right.
But when COVID came, I decided just walk, walk, walk. And I enjoy walking, but I still was not walking an hour and a half. Like if I had been
Mhm.
in the gym, I would have worked out for an hour and a half. I would have done the weights. I would have done the elliptical. I would have been in a couple of classes. I would have been in the pool. So you have to kind of balance it out. And it just leads to a healthier you. It's not about necessarily how you look, but how you feel.
Amen. That is so true. Oh my gosh, I cannot stress that part enough.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but a
No,
lot of
you're fine.
people get to talking about how they look. If I lose weight, my breast gonna go down or my butt gonna go down. And no, it's not about how you look. It's
Mm-mm.
definitely about how you
How
feel.
you feel.
Um, to being 265 pounds, I feel awful.
Hmm.
And I would say, even when people see this picture and see how pretty my hair was and have my little makeup on, my little jewelry. And oh, you look the hell. You look no, baby. I felt so bad. I was so miserable. It's hard bending down sideways to tie your shoe. It's hard when you're trying to walk up a flight of stairs when you don't have another choice but to walk up a flight of stairs and you can't even make it and you stop and you breathe and that's horrible. That does not feel good at
It does
all.
not. It really does
So,
not.
and
No.
then even us as big women, we have to wear them girdles. That's another
Hmm.
thing. Baby, the summertime.
Hmm.
Those girdles was not my friend. They were not my friend. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, and see, my mama, I grew up to where you gonna keep it cute. I don't care how big you is, you gonna wear the long line bra
Hmm.
with the shorts. You got to put
Hmm.
your feet in the shorts and buckle it up in the middle. Some people know what I'm talking about, but
Oh,
that's uncomfortable.
they do.
It's uncomfortable.
Can
So,
be, but it's uncomfortable because you need a you've gone up a size and hadn't adjusted. Okay, but
Or so. And but let me tell you now,
and you're in denial.
let me tell you, the girdle can be comfortable, okay, until you eat.
Yeah.
Just say you out and you
Mm-mm.
eat. Oh my God, babe, I gotta come about this thing. That's embarrassing. Depending on who you with, that's embarrassing. So
Yeah,
for me, like I said, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then as
absolutely.
I was going through the journey, I did see myself start losing weight in places I'd rather not have lost the weight in.
Uh-huh.
I did kind of beat myself up like, oh, my face getting too little, I'm this, I'm that. And I had to think about it, baby. Come on. Now you're able to fit through some things. You're able
Uh-huh.
to slide through some things. You're able to get through this little tiny space. And another thing we have to think of, be ready when you come.
Uh-huh.
Get your house in order. This
Uh-huh.
is your house right here. Get your house in order because times are changing. And
Uh-huh.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe, and I don't know what's going to happen that's going to make us have to use our stamina, our endurance, our strength. I don't know what's going to happen in these last days that's going to make us have to just be active. So if we're not physically fit and we're not able to run to the hills, we're not able to go out there and do whatever we have to do, physical manual labor, if we're not able to do those things, we are depleted. We are absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So if we're not working on absolutely anything else, it's going to be 80% of what you eat and 20% of working out. However, like you said, you wasn't going to the gym and getting the workout like you used to get before, but you was doing something.
I
That's
have to.
key.
I
We
have to
got
take
to
that
do
mental health break
something.
is what I
Yes,
have to do. I
ma'am.
have to take it.
Yes,
Either
ma'am.
after work, in the middle of work, I have to take it to get these people because I still deal with patients, whether I'm in
Hmm.
the hospital or not, and they come with baggage, but it's
Yes.
needed. I mean, it is a part of them, and so they
Right,
don't
right.
have anyone else to speak to but
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, and so it does get stressful to hear
Mm-hmm.
some of the stories that you hear. So yes, that's when I have to just walk away. And if I can't
Mm-hmm.
go outside, I work out in the garage,
Okay.
if the weather
Nice.
permit, it's not permitting, I do
Right.
that. I have a little trampoline that I jump on, just something I have to do.
Okay.
I really have a little mini arsenal
Come
downstairs.
on here, lady. I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud.
But I'm
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, a friend of mine and I, we laugh about that, our little arsenal that we have. And but I
Yeah.
keep my weights, but still it's consistency. And so this year I just said, I've got to get back on a consistent key of things, doing things um that I know I need to be doing. I'm not one to lie around. I'm not one to just roll around in bed all day, even though I did do that Monday because I
It's
was
President's Day.
it was President's Day, and but still that wasn't really an excuse for me. But I was tired, and I'm not saying work through your tiredness
You have to
because
rest.
you have to have some rest.
You
You
have
have
to.
to rest. You
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
mind, body, and soul. And
Definitely.
it is it's necessary. It is necessary. I don't know if some people like bragging rights about the medication they take and what the doctor said about them and how much blood they took, and
Mhm.
then com- they're not compliant with the medication. They're not compliant with what the doctor tells them. They need to eat more whole grains. You need to eat more green leafy vegetables. They're not compliant because I have a friend, she'll call me and she'll be laughing. Oh, girl, I had that ice cream today. And she's diabetic. And I'll be like, okay, it's all right to eat some, but you don't need to eat it every day. Well, I just tore it up today. I
Exactly.
just had to have it. So
It's crazy.
it,
It's
it is
crazy.
because she is not well. I mean, she looks
That's
great on the outside, but she's not well, and she will tell
yes.
you. And so I'm like, we all have something to do. We all have something to do. I have another friend, she has an autoimmune disease, and She has ambulatory issues, but she keeps pushing. She keeps pushing. So my thing
Mm,
is, she wants to be healthy, and she said, "I get tired of taking all this medication, but
mm,
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do." But if you were to see her, you wouldn't notice because, like you said, mind, body, and soul. Christ is the head of her life. Okay.
yeah,
And so you have to think of those things too.
so true.
Because a lot of people would fall
Hmm.
without having that stabilizing force in their life.
Right. And I
And when
want to
you,
say this, not to cut you off, but I want to say this, we perish due to a lack of knowledge.
and that's true. That's very, very
A
true.
lot of things that we think we're doing the right way, we're
Hmm.
not doing it the right way.
Hmm.
A lot of things that we think we're eating and is healthy for us because we haven't done the research on it is not healthy for us. So a lot of us
Hmm.
think that I'm just going to give an example. Deli meat. I used to think that deli turkey and,
Oh, no, 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 that's not good stuff.
deli chicken,
Hmm.
that's good. That's great. Now that I know that is number one is fake meat. That's
Hmm.
just bottom line. And then they put a lot of sodium
Yeah.
and preservatives in this stuff
Hmm.
in order to preserve it.
Hmm.
So when we eat it, it's depleting our body still, but we think, oh, I just had a little turkey sandwich, a sliced turkey sandwich. Nope, that's not good for us.
Hmm.
So, like I said, we perish due to a lack of knowledge. However, if anybody was to ever get on my program, I hold your hand. I take you step by step. I don't know if I showed you, but this is my program. This is be healing mentally, spiritually, and physically from the inside out. And then what I do is I give you step by step guide to let you know from the what you do from the time you wake up, keeping in mind that everything is spiritual until the time you go to bed. Just some
Hmm.
things you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And then if you're not a spiritual person, I also have a spiritual guide in here. This is my little spiritual guide to tell you some things that you can do. You probably can see it, you probably can't see it, but this just tell you some things that you can do so that you can connect spiritually.
Hmm.
Being out in nature, that's spiritual. Taking
Hmm.
those walks, that's
Yes.
spiritual. Listen, just peace and quiet. Listen to the trees, listen to the birds, listen to your surroundings. That's spiritual.
Hmm.
And I don't know if a lot of people know a lot, not, but taking them shoes off, getting out there in the grass, telling
Hmm.
God, thank you for today, Lord. Just hold your hands up and just worship the sun. Just worship the sun and just say, Thank you for just a beautiful sunshiny day." Because a lot of us women don't know that the sun is what gives us our energy. The sun is what gives us our vitamin D.
Hmm.
So it gets deep when we get into the spiritual world. And then after that, after you do your 3 days, just juicing, no eating. I also put you on a clean eating meal plan. And what that looks like is going to tell you what you eat. Let's say pre-breakfast, before breakfast, I tell you some things that you do. And these are just some examples of some things, clean eating things that you could do for breakfast. A lot of us probably have seen these things, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, but we don't know how to incorporate those things inside of our diets. So that's what I do, just give you a little guide for breakfast, some different things you can eat for lunch, different salads, green salads that you can eat for lunch. And then also some things that you can eat from dinner, not taking your meat away, but just giving you some better choices of some meats that you can possibly eat. And then I also give you little snacks that you can have. Fruits, your nuts, your protein bars, and dark chocolate for your sweets. And then this right here, last but not least, this is my clean eating grocery list. It doesn't have meat on here, but it tells you different vegetables that you can have, different nuts and grains that you can have, different seeds, vegetables, beans, all that great fruits, all that great stuff. And this is an alkaline clean eating plan. So a lot of people may ask the question, what's vegan, what's alkaline? I'm gonna say, listen to your body. I'm not gonna get into the hell bent on you being a vegan or being straight vegetarian or not eating this and eat that. I'm gonna give you suggestions of some things that you can do different prior to what you was doing before. And then as the Lord work with you, you'll stop eating that meat. You'll stop eating some things that you know that's not healthy for you. That's why I say it's spiritual because the spirit is strong, but this flesh, Lord, it gets so weak. The rib, baby, the ribs was, baby, I would tell people I don't eat pork, but I ate bacon. And then I also say I don't eat pork, but when my daddy cooked them ribs and he put that Boston butt in that smoker, I
Mm-hmm.
was the first one to have me a taste test because the flesh was so weak, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But the spirit was strong. However, when we're walking in the spirit and we have a daily regimen as, okay, I'm gonna seek God first. Okay, Lord, what you want me to do today? My life is not my own. Get into your praise and worship because praise and worship can tell us a story. And praise and worship can actually help us to testify to some things, or it can testify to us when we get into praise and worship. I don't know if a lot of people have experienced that, but my recommendation is try it. If it's not praise and worship music, let's do some inspirational music, whatever inspires you. Let's get into that. And then once you set the tone for your day, it's going to be easier to now go have your supplements. In my regimens, you have elderberry, turmeric and ginger, sea moss. Go take your supplements. Now drink your tea. Now relax. Pray some more. Thank God some more. Do some more meditation and just giving God all the praise and all the glory for every single thing that He's done in your life. Then you're going to be mindful. I'm on a spiritual journey, so I can't do anything to this body. I have to only do what God has called me to do so that I can be a better person and a better version of myself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Amen. Amen. So that's what we do here at ShaeJae's Wellness. Once you come under me, you're going to be like my baby. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody held my hand. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I've been working myself for over 15 years. I'm working on myself for over 15 years. But the people hand that I hold, it's taking them shorter period of time to get to where they need to be. It only begins with thought. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough. So here I am, Lord. I let you have control. You do. I surrender all, and I allow you to do whatever you would do inside of me to make me a better person.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is great. That is wonderful. It's what some of us truly need to hear. And I get it. Uh, it is control.
Mm-hmm.
It is determination.
Yes.
Do you really want to be healed from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet? Do
Mm.
you really want to be healed? And there are some people who don't. They kind of brag about the illnesses and the disease processes that they have. I was in the pharmacy, and this young lady, she couldn't have been no more than 30, and she was definitely overweight. And she saw someone she knew. Oh, yeah, they had the hardest time sticking my vein, honey. They stuck me right here and right here.
Mm.
She had this big smile on her face, and I'm like,
Mm.
you need to stop. And I was like, yeah, and they got me on this and they got me on that. You're about 30 years old. You're acting like you're 70.
Yes.
That's nothing to brag about. I'm
Mm.
saying this to myself. I'm not getting in their conversation. But what you hear when you are at the grocery store, when you're at the pharmacy, when you're in the waiting room, the things that you hear, you you can't help but to say, you need to do better.
Right.
Some form of
Right.
fashion, you need to do better.
Mm.
No one likes being, some people do enjoy the attention. I will say that. I mean, I've been in
Right.
nursing for quite a few decades now, and some people do enjoy that. But
Mhm.
there are some people who want to be better,
Amen.
and some people do things for attention.
Mhm.
I've seen them. A diabetic came in, and he refused any and everything we had to do with him. He wouldn't wear the heart monitor. He wouldn't put on a gown. I was like, why are you here?
Mm.
I just had enough of him because he
Right.
had aggravated everyone else. I said, why are you here? Well, my wife made me mad, so I ate a Snicker. Okay,
Beautiful.
I said, but who's in the hospital?
Right.
Who's in the hospital, sir? Well, I am. And I said, and you're here giving us a hard time. We can't do anything the doctor wants. We can't draw blood. You're refusing that. You won't put on the heart monitor. You're refusing everything. We're letting him know everything that you're not doing. Well, when the doctor
Mm.
came in, he changed it to, well, they didn't really offer me that. They didn't really act. They didn't do me like that. And the doctor came out. I said, look, he's been here for a day and a half. He's been acting like a brat for a day and a half. This is a full grown man.
Mm.
Because I said, he said, you. made him come to the doctor. He said, and you're right, he's a full grown man. I did not make him come to the doctor. I suggested that he come to the emergency room. And so I was like,
Right.
you see what we're having to deal with? The back and forth. You know,
Mm,
he ate the Snicker. He's the diabetic. It didn't take his blood sugar up that much, but he wanted attention from his wife. Well, guess what? She didn't give him any because she didn't come to see him for 3 days.
mm.
You know, she was like, I'm over
Get
this.
out of
I'm
here.
gonna let him
Sick
calm
of him.
down. I'm gonna let him get it together because that's his body. And that's the way you have to look at it. It is your body.
That's it.
And you need to be healthy for yourself.
That's it.
That's what you need to be healthy for.
That's right.
And some
I
people
always
don't
say
do that.
this. That's right, Miss Carolyn. I always say this as well. We can lead a horse to water, but we cannot make them drink. You can be the change that you want to see, but you cannot force absolutely anybody to do absolutely nothing that they don't want to do. However, when you're in a transition and you're doing things different, you have to continuously do things different because as soon as you decide that, oh, well, I'm gonna eat that Snicker bar, I'm gonna eat that person's gonna come back and look at you like, well, how can you tell me what to do? Look at you, but you didn't say anything when I was eating healthy, but they're waiting on the downfall. That's just the enemy. That's the devil. He waiting on your downfall, or he tempts us with certain
Mhm,
things that gets us in the flesh and have us doing certain things that we're not supposed to be doing. And that's how we fall by the wayside. But
mhm.
other than that, we just have to be the change we want people to see. We cannot force people to do absolutely anything. But I'm with that wife. You're not going to deplete my energy, sir, when you get stuck in this hospital. You're not going to have me coming back and forth when I could have done things at home to help
Sure.
you. And
Mhm.
for my family, I've already told them, okay, here I am. I'm a holistic wellness consultant. No, I'm not a doctor. I cannot make any recommendations outside. I can make recommendations, but I cannot make you make changes outside of what the doctor is telling you. But there's something you said earlier. You have to be your own advocate. If you are trying this medication and this medication is not working for you, why not try something else and listen to your body? It just makes sense. But if you're not willing to try the things that we know come from nature and we know that God has put here to help us, then hey, you're going to just be in the same boat that you're in. And guess what? I'm not being ugly, I'm not being mean, but that's your problem that you have to deal with. My energy cannot be depleted for somebody that's hard-headed. And that's how I deal with that.
And that is so true because it
Mhm.
is so frustrating to try to get a patient to be compliant.
Right.
They have every excuse in the world, and those are their excuses.
Mhm.
And I just offer this when I am educating my patients because they call me Little Missy, because I'm short. I don't think they really know my age, and it's fine. But Little Missy, so I'm not doing anything you said, Little Missy, and I'm like, well, that's
That's
fine. But I gave
okay.
you the information, and it is up to you to do what you need
Right.
to do. I said, but you're going to come in here one of these days, sir, and you're going to have a stroke. And I'm
Mm,
not wishing anything on you, but you have had near misses the last three
mm.
times you have been in here. If you have near misses, you're eventually going to have the big one.
Right. So
And it's
true.
because he was not compliant with his medication, his exercise. Um, Long story short, short story long. He wouldn't take his medication because he couldn't take his Viagra. Okay? One of the two.
Mm.
So the Viagra meant more to him
Then the
than
medication did.
than
Bless
than
his
than the
heart.
yeah,
Bless his heart.
yeah, bless his heart in more ways than one because he ended up
He had a real
having
struggle.
a big stroke. And there I was as he came in. The nurses were used to him. I was a case manager at the time. I'm like, well, I said, well, he won't walk out thumbing us this time. He won't walk out. He's gonna leave. We're gonna send him. She said, what are we gonna do? I said, he's going to rehab. And he's not
Mm.
going, if you think he was non-compliant here and at home, you think he's gonna be compliant at rehab.
Nope. He's
Mm-mm.
not.
He's going to be angry and he's going to be very difficult to work with.
That's sad.
And it is sad because he was a relatively, I don't think he was 60 years old.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
young.
but some things we can prevent. And I tell men, and I'm trying to be very, very gentle when I speak with them, why are you not taking your blood pressure medication? And they
Hmm.
were like, well, I said, if it's for the reason I think you have a male physician, he's going to understand your male problems.
Right.
So just be open, honest, open your mouth and tell him what your issues are. There are other medications, blood pressure medication, he can put you on, and you can still uh, enjoy your partner.
Right.
I said, but don't be ashamed to talk to people. People won't know. We can't pull it out your head.
In order to heal, you got to keep it real.
You got to.
You
You
got to
have
keep it
to. Now,
real.
I
Yes,
like
indeed.
that. I
Yes,
like
indeed.
that. You
Got to.
have to. And so he was really accepting of my advice. Um, and I think it worked. He had that big conversation when the doc came in. I made sure I closed his doors because in the units, there are glass doors. I closed
Right.
his glass doors. I said, now have the conversation. And I said, don't forget, I won't. I won't, ma'am. I won't.
Look at that.
So some people are humble enough to accept, and some people are, I'm going to do things my way.
Yeah. Because
And we have to
sometimes,
just do things the right way.
right. Sometimes it helps better to hear it from somebody else versus hearing it from somebody that you're used to always hearing it from.
That's true too.
Yeah. If I can get somebody else to, kind of talk to me and let me know how important it is, then yes, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. But if you're my wife or you my child, if you say it, I'm
Yeah.
not going to listen. But
Yeah.
then I'll always be able to go back and say, well, my wife told me that, or my
Hmm.
husband told me that, but
Sure.
that little nurse, she came in and she did this, that, another. So I'm going to listen now. Then you probably made it better for the wife, for him to now
Absolutely.
listen to his wife going forward.
Hmm.
So that's still all about us helping each other.
And that's
And
true.
like I said, you can still lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But what
Mm-mm.
I tell my people is, I'm a plant the seed. It's up to you to make it grow.
Hmm. That's
And
true.
that's how we operate. I
Hmm.
don't force absolutely anybody, but what I'm not going to do is continuously try to hold your hand and you're doing whatever you're going against what we got going on.
Yeah.
In my contracts, I let them know this is a partnership, accountability for me to do what I say that I'm going to do to help you, and accountability for you to do the things that I tell you to do in order for you to help you. If you
Hmm.
get out of whack to where I'm not doing my part, then that's an automatic refund. But if
Sure.
you're not doing your part, I'm going to have to dismiss you from my program and I got to keep your money because this is what you agreed to do.
Absolutely.
So the thing about it is it's time out for play.
It is.
It's time, the time in society, in the world is for us to be more serious about ourselves if we're
Hmm.
not serious about absolutely anybody else. Because when it all boils down, you matter. You matter. Yes,
Hmm.
you may have kids and spouses and family and this and the other, but nobody can control you but you. So
True.
you got to, it's a lifestyle change, but you got to like, you know what? Again, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I gotta do something. It's like I don't even have no more room to even play with myself anymore.
That's
I don't
true.
even have no more room to be like I'm addicted.
Hmm.
I can't even afford to be addicted anymore because I want better for me. So that's just the bottom line. We have to want better for our individual selves. Once we get there and once we master being a better person for our individual selves, then by all means, people are gonna start jumping on the bandwagon.
That's
People are gonna
true.
start asking questions. What you do? What you did? What you do? What
That's
you
going to be
did?
the main question.
Yes.
What did you
And for
do?
me, I was so used to giving the information away for free because I love to talk, as you can tell, and I love to give great advice. But God said, baby, it's time for you to start doing something different.
Hmm.
Now, I was originally working for T-Mobile, and I worked for T-Mobile for over 18 years. And when I got into the wellness and just helping people, T-Mobile wanted me to become a coach for their business. And I thought about it. I said, no, I'm going to be a coach for my business
Hmm.
because everybody needs wellness. Everybody needs to know about how to be healed. They need to know how simple it is, and they need accountability. They need their hands to be held in order for them to make it from one step to the next step. So I quit my job. And now I'm my own consultant. I'm my own coach. I'm my own accountability person so where I can help somebody else that's going to make it holistically throughout life, not throughout a job, throughout life, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here for the people, but the people got to be willing to do what's right in order for their bodies to do in order for their bodies to do what their bodies need to do. That's just the bottom line.
It is. And that reminds me, a friend of mine will always say, no one's coming to help us.
Nobody.
She always
Nobody.
says that. So we have to help ourselves. No one's
Got
coming
to
to
help us.
save you. No one's coming to
Yes, it's
help us.
true.
And I'd be so tickled when she says it
Ooh,
because it's so true, but she is so serious about it. I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. She said, we're
I'm
giving out
telling
good
you.
information, where we're doing a lot
Mhm.
of education regarding health and, being a healthier you. But you have to, I said, you have to want it. Yeah, you're giving out
You
great
have to be willing.
information, but you have to want it. That person has to want it.
Absolutely.
And somebody
Mhm.
will. For every three people that walk away from you, there's going to be a fourth one that says, hey, I need to do something. Something I need I
Right.
need your help. I need your help. So that's wonderful to know. Well,
And I
how
had to
can
learn that
people
God said, go ahead.
go ahead, sweetie? God
I was
said,
just saying, God told me to show up, and the people gonna come. Show
okay,
up, the people gonna come. And now it's not about if I make a dollar. It's just about showing up. See who he's gonna lead to me for the day.
that's true.
Because, like I say, everybody want to make a change, but like you say, out of the four, one person's gonna stop and really, really be willing to get on the bandwagon.
Hmm. And that's just people. That's just
Hmm.
people. And it doesn't matter if it's male or female. That's just people. But I want you to tell the audience how they can reach you.
You can reach me. I do have a website, sjwellness.us. That's sjwellness.us. You can also reach me on Facebook. That's ShaeJaes, ShaeJaes, space WLNS, or Instagram. It's going to be the whole ShaeJaes underscore wellness.
Great, great, great. Well, do you have any parting remarks?
Well, it's been a pleasure to actually have gotten to be able to have gotten this information out on the platform. The information is very, very important. A lot of people know people that are holistic, but they don't know exactly what we do. Everybody program is totally different. I
Hmm.
pride myself because I say that I do everything natural.
Hmm.
All organic, all authentic. This is my baby. This is my passion. So if you come to me, don't come to play with me. Come to be for real. I tell people all the time, yes, I want your money, but I want you to be ready. I really want you to be sick and tired of being sick and tired so that you won't just spend your money. You'll spend your money, do the work, and get the great benefit from the work that you've done. That's mentally, spiritually, and physically. And I've done the work, guys. I can assure you that if you put the effort in, it does work.
Well, that is so great to know. There's another resource out here for us who want to put in the work, who want to get started, or who just has questions. So you can get in touch with Miss ShaeJae. She'll
Yes,
give you her
ma'am.
personal testimony, and then she'll tell you what type of plan you guys can work with.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for being a part of Gentry's journey. I have truly enjoyed it. And no, you don't over talk, okay? You just get the word out, okay?
I love it. Thank